Welcome to Humble Narcissist Podcast for the month of November.
The only one we've done.
Well, we took a couple months off for
Couple
mourning.
months?
Couple weeks off for, we'll call it the mourning period of our sadness, which is even better because for this month we are going to do a segment referred to What You Bring to the Table. So, our friend Caela, as you can see her in the video, she has made mac and cheese. I'll post a picture of that, which is great because we have been mourning, so mac and cheese is even better.
Good comfort food.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I'm one of your hosts, Stephen. This is your other host.
I have my mouth full.
That's Dillon. And our friend,
Caela.
we're going to catch up on what we've been up to in the past 2 to 3 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, hasn't it?
Yes, this will be the third week
Yep,
since
so
we've done it.
it's been a minute. So what have you been up to, Dillon?
Just work, playing video games. I'm almost done with Saga.
It's been 2 weeks, almost 3, and you haven't come up with anything else that you've been up to other than work and video games?
Honestly, all I've done is work. That's all I ever do anymore.
Well, what games are you playing?
I'm trying to beat Saga so I can play Dragon Quest.
Romancing Saga, but he wants to play Dragon Quest. But Dillon is the type of person, when he plays a game, he doesn't finish it.
Yeah, my ADD gets the
You
best
can
of me.
count how many games he's beaten on like one, maybe both hands, which is just sad.
Probably 2.5 hands.
Like, for the longest time, we were talking about how the game Metaphor was coming out, which is similar to the Persona games. And we were playing that for a while. I beat it, of course. But Dylan did
I don't have
not.
as much free time as you.
I don't have a job. Maybe you should find yourself a sugar daddy and make
I'm
your
trying.
dreams come true.
I'm trying.
It is snowing today, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I'm surprised we got as much snow as we did. I didn't
am
think we
too,
were going to
actually.
get as much.
Usually it was what, like January by the time we got our first snow, and now we got it in
Indiana's
November.
bipolar.
And I love watching my big old fat dog Freya play in the snow because she looks adorable. So that was a fun little conversation. Dylan has not been up to anything as per usual. What have you been up to, Caela?
A lot of work. We got a dog. We got a little
That's
silken
right.
windhound. So
Her dog, I think, looks very weird, but she
she's got a long
loves him.
nose, very long face.
She like cuddles you like a snake though, because like she wraps her
she
neck
looks like a
around
snake.
you.
She also sleeps with her head like completely vertical. Like it's pretty funny.
It is funny. And then I like when you guys go to pick her up and like she just goes like flat and she won't move with her legs just up in the air like she's dead. And it's just like, what is she doing? Because she doesn't move at all. Have you seen them do that? It's so freaking weird, Dylan. But she's a very sweet dog. My
She
only
is.
complaint against that dog is that she gets right in my face as I'm eating. But she's cute, so I gotta forgive her for that.
Well, yeah, she'll learn. She's still a puppy.
She is a puppy.
She's only 7 months now. So.
And she's only like 20 pounds, ain't she? God, that's small. That's too small for me. No, I like the big dogs. For example, someone who I ran into who I used to work with, her name is Sam. And she was telling me about how she has a dog that's 80 pounds. And she's like, he's so big. And I'm like, my puppy is 120 pounds.
You're like,
She is
girl.
big.
I like giant dogs because they make me feel safe. Because I can't own a gun because I have something that people refer to as rage. So
It's probably a good thing you don't have a gun.
I know, but at least I have enough self-awareness to know that I shouldn't, as opposed to a lot of people that have them that you know shouldn't.
True.
For example, children. Yeah. I like how quiet you guys are. Because it
I
just
just really
makes me
think it's
feel
school
awkward.
shooters.
Yeah. Not in the hospital. You see a lot of kids that have gunshot wounds.
Truth. And I mean, even as America, we couldn't even take home the gold for shooting, and that's like our one thing. That's our one thing, guys.
Yeah.
And we failed at that. So other than work and your little doggy, what have you been doing lately?
That's pretty much it. Other than that, it's school and getting my BS. Nothing exciting. I promise.
I hang out with very exciting people, just so everybody knows. Well, I have been continuing my fun little journey down therapy lane, and you know what? I'm really enjoying it. I like my therapist a lot. Last time we just pretty much shot the shit, so I got thrown down to every other week. because it's like
Now
nothing.
you're less crazy.
Nothing new.
You're still crazy,
Nothing
but
new's going on.
less crazy. I just remembered what we did do. We saw Lady Bunny.
Oh yeah,
We did.
that
I took Caela to, was it your first drag show in Indiana?
in Indiana. Yeah.
So Lady Bunny, who is my husband Corey's all-time favorite drag queen, she finally came to Indiana at Helium, and so we went to go see her. And well, the three of us and my husband had a wonderful
That's a
time.
great time.
But
That was a great time.
I do feel like our poor friend Anthony had a very different experience. I feel like he was traumatized. There was a moment where there was a very explicit video with a fake penis, and it made him very uncomfortable. It was like the scene from Scary Movie when she would give a handy J to the guys, and it would just go everywhere. I'm trying to keep it a little PG so that we don't get flagged, but that's what the video was basically about, and it cracked me up because I remember in that moment, I don't know if you noticed, in the moment that video was going and I was laughing, I turned and looked at him because I knew he was going to have a face, because he's just sitting there like,
I didn't look at him, but I could feel his
oh
energy.
yeah. So I was sitting there dying laughing because I'm looking at your husband and he's getting real uncomfortable, and I'm looking at you and you're just laughing, having the time of your life. I'm just like,
Because it was funny.
it was
really
so funny. And then she sang that song where it was about how there's no place she'd rather be than Bianca Del Rio's funeral, and it cracked me up because it made me think of Dylan. Because I was like, I could see him saying
Because that's
that.
our friendship.
That is our friendship. I've actually told stories of our friendship to our therapist, and she was like, you guys are kind of mean to each other, but that's kind of like what you guys do. I'm like, it is.
We're both just broken.
So, Dylan, the day I went to therapy last, he sent me this meme, and it's from, you've heard about his morbid facts, and I'm always just like, how do you follow that? So he sends me this meme, and before I tell you what it says, all I could think to respond back to him was just, Jesus Christ. Because, like, I'm dying laughing.
but
He
what
thought
do
I
you-
wasn't laughing, but I was dying laughing, but I didn't know what the hell I was supposed to
Honestly,
say back
I
to
totally
it.
thought like you got your crazy journey out of you, and you just didn't think it was funny.
No, I didn't know what to say because I was
What did
laughing.
he send you?
So it's this meme where it's a picture of this girl and it says she was depressed. So to cure her depression, she decided to go to India and do like the whole eat, pray, love
yeah,
thing. And so what happens to
Yeah.
her is she was beheaded, we'll say graped for TikTok, graped, and hung upside down by her feet. And Dylan sends it and says, well, at least I have a cure for my depression now. And I was laughing, and I was talking about it with my therapist, and she just, thankfully, she has similar humor to me, and she understands our humor. Because she kind of giggled, and she was like, well, I mean, the therapist in me is like, whoa. But she was like, I guess she doesn't have to worry about her depression anymore. And I was like, exactly.
Right, she's just
That's
hanging
the
out.
funny part.
The
She
silver
is
lining.
just hanging out, just like what we're going to do one day.
Yep.
Under his eye. Under his eye. But so that's really what I've been up to, doing that. I've been going to lunch and dinners and stuff with my family, trying to just keep up with them. I found out that my niece got a job. I had no idea until I finally read the family group messages. So,
It's so crazy. It makes me feel old because I remember when she was a baby.
girl,
I know.
I babysat her when she was in diapers. Do you know how old that makes me feel?
The same age as me.
I'm older than you by like half a year.
Oh.
Half a year. Don't get it twisted, Dylan.
Okay.
We were
Big
both still
difference.
born in 90.
Right.
But-
Senior prom. Jocelyn was a little baby.
Yeah, she was. Oh my God. Speaking of prom, so I'm just going to say it. You're a very pretty girl, so I imagine your prom was a fun time.
No, actually, it wasn't. I didn't actually have anyone ask me to prom. And then I had a friend of mine who, like, a couple days before said, you don't have a date. I don't have a date. We should go together. And that's my prom. So,
Girlfriend or guy friend?
guy friend, yeah.
So as a homosexual,
Honestly, same though.
right? That was the same. That was the same for us. My date for junior prom was it was Carolyn, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Carolyn was my date. She looked very pretty. However, we all knew that I was a fag. So I went with her. And what was fun about it is that, no, that was senior prom. No.
Senior prom was where...
Junior is where we got the limo.
Yeah, junior is where we got the limo.
So junior prom, Dylan and I went with like 5 girls and left with like 7 and went to Steak and Shake. So then that year I went to Great Clips and got my hair cut. I like your reaction because you're a former hairdresser, so you know that it was bad.
It was bad.
So I went there and I looked like a little Dutch boy. I'll show you the pictures later.
With the two-tone hair.
I didn't have the two-tone.
Yeah, you did.
Oh
No, I didn't. I had the red hair because I have the images.
Okay.
So they cut my hair like a box.
Yeah.
So I looked like one of those old school Dutch boy haircuts.
Could have been a pilgrim.
It was so bad. It was awful. And I was miserable all night, but still had a good time. Like we danced and all that. That junior was the one where it was at the arcade at Circle Center, wasn't it?
Yes.
Talk about low budget.
Well, it's not even an arcade anymore. Didn't they get rid of it?
Yeah, they did. Pretty much all the malls I feel like are going broke now. But our senior prom, that one was more fun because I didn't look like a little Dutch boy. But I went, my date was our weird friend Amanda, and she was a blast. That was a lot of fun for me.
Good way to do it, though.
It was a lot of
Good
fun.
memories.
She would get up there and dance with me and stuff. So that's what I like. My own husband doesn't like to dance, so I like to look back on that and be like, at least she was out on the dance floor with me, moving and grooving.
See, that's good.
That year it was at a hotel. It was
The
like
Hyatt.
Yeah, it was actually at a good spot, like their ballroom and all that stuff, not at
nice.
an arcade. So I enjoyed my senior prom a lot more.
How did we start talking about prom?
You know, I'm not really sure.
Oh, because I mentioned Jocelyn as the baby. Okay.
Oh yeah,
There
when
it
we went to
is.
prom. Yeah.
Sorry, it's just really random.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're the one that kind of caused us to segue into this, and then you forgot all about it.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway. But Dylan referred to, I had two-tone hair, and you might appreciate this as a hairdresser. I went through all the different hair colors as a kid. I did the bleach, which I looked like a calico cat because it was not even at all.
I remember when you and Sarah bleached your hair.
It was Amanda and I.
Sarah did too.
No, she didn't. She
Yeah.
didn't bleach it with us, did she?
Yes, she did.
I only remember Amanda and I. It was so bad.
It was so bad.
Caela.
You
Yeah.
looked like Goku in like
I
Super
kinda
Saiyan
did.
form.
So, if I can find that image, I'll show you. I know I don't have any images of the one where I did black hair on top and pink on the bottom, which
That was like a big thing then.
it was a big thing back then, in like the
Yeah.
early
Way back
2000s.
then, yeah.
Yeah, so I did that. But my favorite hair color that I've ever done was blue, and I will always remember it because I was like 15 or 16, and my mom actually took me to go do it, and it was so much fun for me.
I
Though
had blue hair at one point too. I liked
it
it.
was so cool.
Yeah, it's
I told
different.
Corey because Caela was talking to us earlier about how she might do short hair, and Dylan and I have told her that we feel like she would rock it. But you have a face that like you could rock pretty much any haircut.
Yeah, I've had all kinds of haircuts. Like I've had a boy cut, I've gone through pixies, bobs, all of it. So
Well, I told Corey I was going to dye my hair green, and he told me that he would call me a booger. So I probably won't do green, but he said
You
that
should get green highlights and you'd be like a Christmas tree.
I told you, even if I dyed my hair green, I'd still be a Christmas tree because facial hair's red,
Well, the green
eyebrows
would
are
pick
red.
up, especially with your gray.
Thanks, Dylan.
salty.
Thanks a lot. You're a jerk.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
glad I have this delicious mac and cheese to eat my feelings for every time you want to say something shitty to me like you always do.
Here you go. I'll move it closer to you. But honestly,
Thanks.
it would. The green would pick up easier with the gray.
They still gotta bleach it.
True.
Yeah.
But, you can carry the conversation
I was-
along easy.
The only hair color I dyed, it was burgundy. I did it once.
Burgundy.
You did the trashy red, like...
Yeah.
Oh, I say
the
that
dark
knowing that my
red.
oldest sister does burgundy all the time. But it is kind of like the trashy red.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to any trailer park, you're going to see, like, ladies with that burgundy hair color.
Right.
And it looks bad. And I've done it, too. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't, because
Right.
I grew up poverty. Now I'm middle class.
You're not poverty unless you have to open your car door with a knife.
Oh my God. That's a true story. Did you know this story about me? If you're a police officer watching this, please shut this off. I can break into cars with a butter knife. So...
A butter knife.
Yes, my very first car that my mother gave me, it had no door handles, no gas gauge, no speedometer, no radio, and the seatbelt was broke.
Oh my God.
So that was my very first vehicle, and you had to break into it using a butter knife. So I know what the little switch and the handles and stuff, when you look at it through the crack, looks like, and what you need to push down on to get the car door open. I don't know if the newer cars can do it, but let me just tell you, it was really awkward in high school whenever like the cops would be driving by and I'd be breaking into my own car with the butter knife.
You have to whip out the knife at the high school?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I would leave it in the door so that when I would go out there, I could just grab it and go boop and get in. So to this day, though, like if I don't have a speedometer, I know about how fast I'm going from the RPMs because my mother taught me that because she gave me that vehicle. So, and because of that vehicle, it's also instilled in me when you fill your gas tank, always reset the tripometer because that'll let you know when you gotta fill. So, I mean, it taught me some good life lessons driving that little car. Dylan had his first car.
My first car got stolen on my birthday.
His 18th birthday.
Oh my God.
And so I love this story because I was awake all night and I didn't hear the car start or anything. Because you know how like when you and Anthony are like, if you guys want to drink, you can stay here. I cannot sleep at other people's houses. It's always been a thing. You can ask him. So like I would stay the night at his house for his birthday, and I would just lay there all night, usually on my DS or Game Boy or whatever the hell system it was. And so his 18th birthday comes, he's passed out on the couch, I'm just laying on the floor like playing on my game, and then his mom gets up at like 5 a.m?
Yeah, and she's like, where's your car?
Yeah. And Dylan's like, it's outside. She's like, no, it's not. So his first car got stolen, and then
my second car, the power steering went out.
Was that the red one or the gray one?
That was the gray one. The red one, I had to use a stick to get my key out of the ignition. Because when I traded it in for the nice car, I met you guys at Applebee's, and the dude from Hubler called me. He's like, how do you get your key out of the ignition? I'm like, well, you have to take a stick and shove it up the gear shaft until it pops out, and then you're good.
And he was like, what?
You know what? I got $500 out of it. It was great.
My favorite of his car was the little gray one, though. Because it would die out of nowhere.
Moan and Moby. So like at the 4-way stop or something, he'd start to go and it'd go boom and die. And every time Sarah and I would freak out and be like, start your car, because people are behind him.
Oh my God.
And then we were driving down a country road and we just got 44 ounces. And this is one of my favorites because I go to reach for mine and he hits this bump and my hand goes boom and the thumb goes right through the foam cup so that my tea starts going all over the place. And he's like, what the hell? I'm like, I'm sorry, give me a towel. And we didn't have a towel. So we were sitting there trying to figure out how to fix it, but we obviously couldn't. And then afterwards I was like, can we go get me another tea? But Moan and Moby, that was my favorite of his cars. That's also the one he locked himself inside of.
That was the one I locked myself inside.
I didn't even do that.
So
here you go.
It was a blizzard from 2000 something. I don't remember.
So back in like maybe it was like 2010 something.
I don't know.
Like
I
that.
still worked in Greenfield.
There was a lot of ice storms that year.
Yeah. So I went to go start my car and all of my doors were locked except for the back driver's side. It was because I left it unlocked so I could get through, but the doors were froze shut. So I was able to actually get that door open. So I climbed my fat ass through and get into the front seat and start my car, and it won't start. So I first tried to like push my way out the driver's side, but that didn't work. So then I climbed my fat ass back over and tried to get out the same door I came in. I got frozen inside. It got froze while I was doing that.
Stuck in there.
So I got locked inside my
Oh
car.
God.
And he called me and was like, hey, can you come up to Kroger? And I go, why? Then he was like, I locked myself inside my car. And I thought it was a joke because back then there was that Blonde Star thing where it's like, help, I've locked myself inside my car. And when she opens the car door, her keys were in the ignition the whole time. And I'm like, are you messing with me? He's like, no, I'm locked inside my car. So I didn't have a car at the time. So I went to my sister Amanda and I was like, hey, Dylan locked himself in his car. Can we go help him? And she goes, and I word for word said, what the fuck? So I go, he said that he locked himself in his car and he needs our help. So she'll help anybody. Mm-hmm. Despite how mean she is, she will drop everything to help you.
I know what you mean. She's always so nice.
Oh, you have
I'm
not
around.
seen her in her bad days, but she sat there and she took me up there to help him, and we're both dying laughing in the car because she's like, how does this even happen? So when we're like, I called Dylan and I'm like, hey, we're behind you. So he's like, okay, so we get to watch him roll his fat ass over the driver's seat into the back and then watch him like take his leg back as far as he could and kick the door open.
Oh my God.
It takes a couple kicks.
Yeah.
But I finally get out.
And then we took him home.
Just left the car there.
Yeah.
Fun stories. That same year with the ice storm is when he had my favorite fall in history.
Because I fell, and then I just, every time I get up, I just keep falling.
It was wonderful, Caela, because like the snowstorms were happening and he fell on a little hill at an apartment complex and he would stand up, and soon as he would like stand up and try to take a step, he'd fall and slide back down. And it happened like 5 or 6 times. And I'm holding onto the rail just laughing at him. And he's like, help! I'm like, I can't help you. That's also when I got called Adrian's mom.
Oh, yeah, because
Yeah.
she fell and you guys laughed at her.
So, Adrian was a kindergartner and she was getting on the school bus. Jenny and I, every morning, we would watch her get onto the bus and be like, oh, make sure that she's good. So, again, snowstorms. She falls and Jenny's like, oh my God, she just fell. So I jump up to go see and we're both giggling and Jenny opens the door and goes, are you okay, sweetie? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. So then she gets on the bus, and then the next day, Jenny, she's a wonderful mother. She was like, hey, well, I finished getting ready for work. Will you go walk her to the school bus? Because I was the babysitter. And I was like, yeah, I'll walk her to the babysitter. And I had like shaggy hair. Like I always have like a little bit of shaggy hair when I was younger. And I start taking her to the bus, and this woman goes, are you her mom? And I said, I'm her uncle. She's like, oh, well, she fell yesterday. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I know, we laughed. And she's like, so I just came out to make sure she was okay and getting on the bus. And I was like, yeah, that's why I'm here. So my family won't let me live that down. So that's a fun ma'am moment. It's ma'am.
Yeah?
Anyway, so we are going to take a quick little break and we're going to continue life stories together while we enjoy this mac and cheese. And we are back. So, Dylan, what's another fun little family story that you have?
I fell up an escalator at a blind convention, and no one would help me up because they couldn't see me.
A blind convention.
Yes. So my grandmother, she's legally blind, and I guess she would travel because she would do the surf safe stuff, and like she owned a business and all this stuff, and so she'd go to like these corporate retreats, and so we met her at one of them in Louisville one time, and I thought it'd be smart to go up the escalator that's coming down. And I tripped over my feet and I fell and I got this huge ass scar on my knees, but no one would help me up. The only one who saw me were the dogs, and the dogs didn't do anything.
So I never realized how blind your grandmother was until graduation. I'll always remember it because around graduation, my grandmother just died, and Dylan was very kind and was like, do you want to go out with me and my family to celebrate graduation? So we went to P.F. Chang's, and there was a huge storm that was going on. Like, you couldn't even see in front of your face.
Yes.
So his mom she always looks after her mother, and she was like, I'm going to go get the car. So she went to go get it. And it was just his grandma and I inside the vestibule, and like a shit ton of people were around us. And I just see her, and she's looking so lost, looking for anyone that she knows. So I inch a little closer to her. Then she's still looking, so I get even closer. And once she realizes I'm the one next to her, she grabs my arm and she goes, "You're not leaving me." It's like, I know. But my God, I was like, I didn't realize she was that blind.
She is.
Because Dylan always would tell me the stories, but I was just like, I couldn't believe it. But she's also like one of the sweetest people.
Yeah, she's fun. She has our humor.
She does have our
good.
humor,
Yeah.
which is great because his mom also has our humor, so it'd be kind of tough without that.
Right.
Caela, would you like to tell a fun family story that you have?
Oh, God. I don't even know if I have any fun family stories.
Oh, well. You don't
They
have any
always turn traumatic, so.
What doesn't?
truth. Always ends in therapy. Every time. Oh, here we go. So I used to babysit my nieces and nephews all the time. That was how I made my money back in the day. And my niece Morgan is just like my sister Chris. And I figured that out real quick because I wasn't the best babysitter. Like, I taught my nephew how to use a microwave at 3. Only one instance where he burnt himself and had to go to the hospital.
Hey, but they were happy. They got a check.
Truth. They did get that Affleck money. But, so I would make them bring me the milk when they would want it. So she was like 2 or 3, something like that. So she brings me the milk and she's like, fill my cup. So I filled up her cup and gave it back to her and said, okay, go put it up. And she goes, ugh. I go, just go put the milk up, Morgan. And so their layout is the front room is connected to the kitchen. Mm-hmm. Then on this side is the bedrooms and the hallway leading to the bedrooms. Her brother's room is at the very end. That little bitch put the milk on the ground and started pushing it. And instead of going into the kitchen, turns down the hallway and starts going, Bubby. And Anthony jumps out, like, it comes out of his room and he goes, what's wrong, Morgan? She's like, I put it up. And he goes, okay, and goes and puts it up. So I'm just laughing. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. And that's her attitude now to this day. She's like,
And she went farther.
She went farther than it would have been just to go put it up.
Yeah.
Did we ever tell the story on the podcast about when Corey met Edwards?
No, I wasn't with you guys.
So the very first time that he met her, we go to meet her, and it was Halloween, and I don't know if she was on lithium or something like that, but she was normal, happy, like would talk to people. And when we left, Corey was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, because like she seems normal to me. And I'm like, oh, honey. So next Halloween comes and we decide that we're going to go to dinner, and Dylan goes with us. So when we go to pick her up, Corey's in the front talking to Edward's mom. And I go to the back to be like, hey, we're here. Are you ready to go? She's sitting in the dark, facing the wall, talking to herself. So,
Corey is just like.
yeah. So he didn't see that part. No. So I'm like, are you ready to go? And she's like, yeah, let's go. So she gets up, grabs her purse. We're headed out. We go to the Mexican restaurant, and Dylan and I are sitting across from each other. And then Corey and Edwards are across from each other. So the whole dinner, she's staring at the wall going, talking to herself while Dylan and I are conversing like it's normal. And Corey the whole time is just looking at all three of us like, what is this shit? So when we drop her off and she goes inside, Corey goes, what the fuck was that? And I go, what are you talking about? He's like, she was talking to the wall the whole time. And I go, yeah, I told you. That's what she does. He was like, she didn't do that last time I met her. I go, yeah, I told you. I think she might have been on meds or something. I was like, that's just like normal her. That's why to this day I tell people, I'm like, I have a very high tolerance for crazy. Like, I'm fine with it.
Right.
I mean, my theory was always, if they're going to shoot up the school, I want to be friends with them.
Yeah.
That way you don't get
You don't
shot.
go
Right.
on the list.
As like they're
Exactly.
shooting everybody, they're like, have a good day, Steve. And I'm like, you too.
You get that text, stay home, you feel sick.
Thanks. Thank you. Good idea. Good idea. Did you have any weird friends like that, Caela?
Any crazy friends? I wouldn't say to that level, but I've been in a psych ward, so I've seen my fair share of crazy.
So I'm not that crazy yet.
No.
Was it
not
like Girl Interrupted?
I don't know what that is.
Oh my
I don't
god.
know what that is.
She's only 30. It's
So, Girl Interrupted is it's a movie. It has Winona Ryder in it and Angelina Jolie. Winona Ryder has to go to a psych ward, and that's where she meets Angelina Jolie.
so they become friends, but crazy friends. And then Brittany Murphy was in it because she
Yeah.
was the girl that loved mustard.
Yes,
I just remember that because
because she was coming out of her Clueless days, wasn't she?
I was the weird person that like loves mustard because I
Yeah,
still
you
love
do.
mustard. Because like with cheeseburgers and all that, I just really need mustard and pickle. That's all I really need. But her character loved mustard in it, and that was the big thing. And that she was like diddled by her dad or something, and that's why she was crazy.
I don't even remember
She
the
killed
movie.
herself.
I just know it was about a psych ward
Well, I just remember Brittany Murphy's parts because I loved her.
because she's dead.
No, Dylan, not because she's dead. Though according to some people now, they think that Diddy might have been a part of that too.
I've heard that.
Could be because Diddy's
I
a part of
love-
it all.
I love the Diddy rabbit
Thank you,
hole.
Beyonce.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Beyonce, for letting
Beyonce.
us have this mediocre podcast where we can talk to our whole 2 viewers. Thank you so much. Though I did learn, weirdly, it was my therapist that told me that I needed to look into our SEO, like our search engine stuff, like what makes us pop up. I told her, I was like, I swear to God, if I look into this and then like we start like people watching us, I'm going to have to like pay you double. Because that's what'll help. By the way, if there's anything that you need us to cut out, you just let me know and I'll cut it out.
You
Do it.
probably should have gave her a safe word in the beginning.
Dylan says bravo, bravo. Because Denise Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, whenever she wanted them to stop recording her, she'd say, bravo, bravo. And now Beverly Hills is back. And you know, Sutton has brought her friend Jennifer Tilly from Chucky, and that warms my heart.
Well, Dora and Kyle are gonna have this frenemies war all season, I bet you.
I don't care about them. I'm just glad
just
Jennifer
cracks me
Tilly's
up.
there.
It cracks me up that they keep trying to one-up each other.
They do. And it's like, with Kathy there, none of you are going to be like the main woman because everybody's now watching for Kathy.
Right, because it all started because Dora took up for Kathy like 2 years ago, like 2 seasons ago. And then, so Kyle was mad at her about that. So then she said they weren't friends. So then Dorit's like, hold my beer. I'll tell Erica about my divorce before I tell Kyle. So Kyle's like, fuck you, bitch, and texts PK. So Dorit's like, well, fuck you. She goes to Kathy. It's just they keep trying to one-up each other, and it's so funny.
I know, but you got me with the hold my beer. I'm going to do this. Because that's really how those two are doing it already this season.
Yes! And it's only been one episode.
I know. And then, like, I love Sutton's parties, but that performer, what
Hey,
the hell?
she knows how to throw a party.
She has this performer up there just singing about her pussycat the whole time. Anyway, did you come up with a fun little family story?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, Caela. So Beverly Hills is back. That's exciting. Any other good shows come back yet?
I haven't watched New York. I haven't watched Salt
any
Lake.
of that.
Dubai got canceled.
Well, because they got rid of the most interesting person, which was Nina. Salt Lake, I think they need to be like redone because they're not going to one-up Monica anymore.
Right.
So Monica was the villain last season, and she was legit nuts. So nuts, in fact, that she failed the psychology test to be on the Traitors. So, allegedly. So, she ran a Instagram account that bashed the women of Salt Lake for like 4 years. and then she became a cast member.
Yeah,
and then,
infiltrated and became their friend.
Oh my god.
and then so when they found out she was the one of the people running that account, they were devastated and refused to film with her any longer. So that is like peak drama.
Yeah.
So then, and her mom was nuts too. Like her.
What if her mom gets on the Traitors?
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Her mom, in the middle of a restaurant, because her and Monica were arguing, decided she was just going to start talking to the plant. And she was like, "At least you listened to me." Oh. So they fired Monica, and like their whole drama, every commercial that I see for it, I'm just like, it's nothing now. Like there's one where one of them, Angie K, is like, "I brought a scroll of my grievances against you," and it's like, that doesn't beat running a blog site that bashed these broads for 4 years. Shut up, Angie, and get to the back of the line. Like,
right.
Monica should be right there. Mm-hmm. She made that season. And I'm sorry, Heather needs to go because her whole thing is, I'm a bad Mormon even though I won't do anything bad. I want to go party. I'm going to tell my daughters that they can go be hoes because I didn't. I want them to have a whole face because I'm a bad Mormon. You are boring. The most interesting thing that came out of her mouth to me was when the very first episode where she was like, "My name is Heather Gay. I used to be a part of the gay family." And I just thought it was funny the way that she said it. Because it's like, oh, you used to be gay and now you're not. I get it. I try every day. But I don't know. These housewives aren't as interesting to me as they used to be.
No.
Like, it just feels like they're all kind of like running bland now.
They
I
are.
think that's just reality TV, though. Like the Kardashians, for example. They're
Yes.
Kardashians have been going down, but I'll tell you who hasn't. Honey Boo Boo.
Really?
I love Honey Boo Boo. And Mama June just got put on Peacock, all 6
nice.
seasons. So,
Wasn't there some drama about spending her money?
yes.
Yeah, something like that.
That was the newest season. They found out that she spent like all of Alana's money that she was supposed to have for college. So then Alana was struggling, and her mom's just like, I mean, I put how much I was supposed to of that Coogan account, blah, blah. And it's just like, she made like, I think it was 100,000 from Dancing with the Stars. Mm-hmm. Alana only got like 10 or 20. And her mom took the rest of it to pay for everything else.
The drugs?
No, she's supposedly not on that anymore. But her new husband, what cracked me up the most is that she kept saying, we don't have the money to pay her back. We don't have the money to pay her back. Because it was like 60 or 80,000 that they said that she needed to pay her. Mm-hmm. And her husband, she didn't tell him any of it. So then when he found out, he goes, you're going to go to the bank and pull that out and give it to her. So it's like, so she did have the money. She just didn't want to give it. So they're all fighting. And even like the moms from Teen Mom were coming out, speaking out against her because they're like, all of our kids have Coogan accounts from being on Teen Mom. We don't touch that money. She's like, a good mother puts all that money in because you are also making your pay. So why are you spending your child's pay as well?
They make money too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them did a whole podcast about how everything works and how her and her husband are both on the Coogan account for their kid from Teen Mom, and to pull out any money for anything that kid needs, they both have to sign off on it. And she's like, that's how it should be. But Alana also doesn't talk to her dad because he married that woman who is a terrible lady. I love Honey Boo Boo.
Speaking of drama, have you seen Keke Palmer? She brought out a book, and she's talking about how mean and racist some of her Scream Queen cast members were.
I heard, and she was even alias for one of them, right?
And then the redhead in it was talking about how Keke would defend her whenever they were being bullies to her. And that devastates me because I really wanted them to come back out and do it. And I really hope that it's Leah Michele.
Oh, you know it was. You know it was her, and you know it was Emma Roberts.
That's who I'm hoping that it wasn't. I don't want it to be Emma Roberts.
I had a feeling it was, though.
Me too, but that could also just be because she has that face.
No, there was a clip. They were in an interview, and someone asked who the meanest one was, and everyone pointed at Emma, and then Keke said, no, this one, she's silent, but she's mean to Leah Michele. So you know that bitch was mean.
You know what, though? I love Keke Palmer.
Right.
The only thing I've seen her in that I don't like is that Nope movie. I thought that movie was just dumb. Have you watched that?
No, I didn't want to watch it.
I was waiting for it to come out on a streaming thing so I could watch it.
It is.
Where?
It's on Amazon.
Oh.
It's been on Amazon forever.
I don't get on Amazon because it always freezes up on my Fire Stick.
Isn't that like the thing that people use to, like,
Ironically,
jailbreak?
yes. And it is Amazon, like, it's an Amazon Fire Stick. You would think it would work.
Oh, true.
But nope, it just freezes up. So I just watch Crunchyroll.
Well, Crunchyroll's a lot better, but you know what? Kayla loves anime, so let's sit here and talk about that for a minute. Because
I finally started watching Dan Dan.
isn't it hilarious?
fuck?
Are you watching it in English or Japanese?
Japanese. That first episode, though, I was like,
In the
what?
Japanese one, does she also say, "I'll
Yes,
let you
she
suck on
does.
my teeth if you give me your dong"?
Yes, she does. Oh
So,
my god.
Dylan messaged me about that, and he goes, "You need to watch this anime." And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "You just need to watch it. I don't understand what's going on, but it's great." So Corey was flipping through Netflix, and I was like, "Let's watch that." Dylan says that it's interesting, and we both were dying. That's like my favorite line in any anime now.
my
It's just
God.
that old lady goes saying, "I'll let you suck on my teeth if you give me your dong."
It's
Right.
actually a pretty good story once you get past the first
Right.
couple episodes.
Right, because they have
Now
to,
they're
like...
trying to find his balls.
Yes. Because the aliens took his dick.
No, she did.
Oh, the old lady took his dick.
She
That's
took
right.
it and she took his
lost
balls
it.
and she made them golden. And that, like, the bitch of the school got a hold of the golden ball. And so now she can see ghosts. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
I love that freaking anime. It has me rolling every single episode. One that, like, I'm on the struggle bus to continue. Now, don't hate me for this. Is Fairy Tale.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
It's always been about, like, friendship and stuff, but, like, lately it's so bad.
I read
with it.
apparently they go back to Daedalus.
Why?
Apparently they see like Gray and Juvia's kid and Natsu and Lucy's kid.
Well,
when they
you
go
know
to
that
Daedalus.
they're coming out with the anime of it because the manga's out of them with their kids.
Right.
Which, like, when I told
makes sense.
I told Corey, I was like, well, you know that Jalal and Urza have a kid together, and so does Natsu and Lucy, and he's like, why are you ruining it? And I go, there's a whole
Right.
manga out about it already.
Honestly, I don't see the chemistry with Natsu and Lucy though. They just
No.
they seem like brother sister.
They do, to me.
Not to me. I felt like it was always there, and especially with the new season, there's definitely more like tension there.
Well, I mean,
it's
especially with
all
Urza
fan
and Jalal,
service.
Yeah.
when he's
Yeah,
like running around in his
exactly.
underwear.
Just fan service. Maybe.
Yeah, I lean with that. Her husband gets really upset because, like, whenever he's being, like, annoying or whatever, I'll threaten to ruin Demon Slayer for him. Because he's, like, he hates spoilers like my husband, and, like, because of on TikTok and all that, and I see all that shit, I know how everything's gonna go down. Everything. And I like to mess with him and be like, well, this is how your guy goes down. But, like, let's do something fun after we take a quick break, because I'm going to end it on anime this week.
Okay.
So I want you guys to think for a second. Who is your guys' most annoying character in any anime? Like, who do you see on anime and you're just like, I hate this person? Think about it. We'll be right back. We are back, and we're going to do our final thoughts. But first, we are going to solve the question of who is the most annoying anime character to you? So let's start with Caela.
Naruto. 1,000% Naruto.
I've never even seen it.
Good for you. Your husband is the reason I'm watching it. He's begged me to watch it, says it's so great, and it's so annoying. He's so annoying.
He gave up on me watching it because he was like, you would like it. I'm like, I've seen enough of it to know that I don't like it.
Like, no thanks.
I think that it's really annoying. And, like, whenever he would keep asking, I go, do you want me to ruin what happens for you? He goes, how do you know? And I go, because I go on Wiki and I'm on TikTok. I know who ends up with who in everything. And he's like, no, you don't have to watch it. I was like, that's what I thought. So Caela goes with Naruto.
I figured out who mine is.
Dylan was on the struggle bus, so now
Yeah.
before he forgets it, who is your most annoying anime character?
Is it Toru from Fruits Basket?
You don't like Toru?
No, she's so annoying because she's so whiny.
She's
And she's
not-
always like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm such a failure.
That's true. But she's also kind of upbeat because she's always talking about how her mom wants her to stay positive, so she's staying positive.
Even
But-
though she's a failure.
Yeah,
I think that's what gets me.
Now, I couldn't do this with Naruto because I don't really like anybody in that show. But I really like Momiji from Fruits Baskets, and that's the bunny kid. He was my favorite. Him and, oh God, what's the cow's name? I love the cow guy, too.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
I've only seen a couple episodes.
Oh
You
my
haven't
God.
seen it?
That was like one of the first animes I watched, and I
Watch the
sure.
new one
Because
not
they
the,
have all of the people.
Okay.
So,
and the story doesn't end with some like weird Scooby Doo villain. So
so true. But like my favorite moment on that is with the cow on Fruits Baskets, and that's because he has black and white hair like a cow.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see that scene? Because the student body president is like, you can't have weird colored hair in school. You have to do your natural. And he's like, this is my natural hair color. And the student body president keeps arguing with him and telling him to prove it. So the cow guy drags the student body president to the bathroom. And the next scene is the president's like, well, that is his natural hair color. And he walks away. And Toru's like, what did he do in there? And Momiji's just laughing. And the other two boys are like, don't worry about it. Because that cracked me up. I was like, I mean, that is one quick way to prove what color your hair naturally is. Anybody that gets that, you'll enjoy that little laughter.
So who's your least favorite?
So, looking at all the animes that I've seen, I will say that my absolute most annoying character ever will be a little controversial because I don't know why people love her, is Rukia. I think Rukia from Bleach is the worst character ever. And people are always just like, oh, she's so great. How? She hasn't won one fight on her own. Her brother has had to save her in every single instance. Mm-hmm. Even, I know you haven't seen it, but I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Even in the 1,000-Year Blood War, her brother had to come save her. Even when she does her Bankai and she's like, I won. I can only have it out for so long or I'll freeze and die. Who has to come save her and be like, this is how you release your Bankai, Rukia, so that you put it back into your sword because you're stupid. Her brother.
Yeah, I feel like that's how Lucy is from Fairy Tail. Like, she can't do anything on her own.
Right, and she has such a great power.
I know, and now she's copying Sailor Moon. And it's just this needs to stop.
Yeah.
Same with Wendy, though. Wendy's now copying Sailor Moon, and I hate when they copy people like that. But Rukia was the worst. I feel like in the end, when they're like, we need new captains now that like 90% of the people are dead, when they were like, who can use Bankai? She's like, oh. And Kyoraku's like, anybody else? Anybody. Anyone with a Shikai. Have you ever won a fight on your own? You did? You're promoted.
There's someone who's not a piece of shit.
Someone who can win without being saved by her brother. There you go. Rangiku.
Would it matter if she was technically in a video game, but they made an anime after? Because I didn't like, is it Velvet from Tales?
Oh, I didn't like her either. Have you ever played the Tales series? Mm-mm. It's a JRPG. It has anime style art.
Okay.
It's really fun, but she was bad. But you know what, though? Velvet's story, I felt for her.
Right, I did too, don't get me wrong.
She watched her brother get murdered, and her brother was like 6.
Yes.
And she's like responsible for it. So then she's trying to like avenge him the whole time, but every time she gets close to someone, like they die. It's just like, oh, honey.
So who would be your all-time favorite, or would it still be Momiji?
All-time favorite anime character of all time? Oh. Probably because I do, even though I shit talk it all the time, Bleach is one of my favorites. I would probably say Unohana. Unohana is my favorite character of all time, and I think that the fact that Kenpachi killed her was bullshit. Because he sucked so bad that he locked his abilities away. And the only way he got it back was that he had to kill her. Mm-hmm. And it's like, she beat you like 100 times. You beat her once, bro. Like, scoreboard.
Right.
You still suck. And another thing that drove me nuts about that, because of the 1,000-Year Blood War, and they're like, this is the toughest enemies we've ever faced. Here's an idea. Let's kill off the one member left from the original captains that pushed these guys back 1,000 years. Let's kill her. She beat them and like mercilessly murdered them all back in the day. Why would you get rid of that?
Right.
Like, but I do know that the creator is coming out with the Hell arc, where the villains are going to be the original 13 guards.
My brother
captains.
just told me I needed to start watching again because the graphics are really good with it and it's really cool. I don't know. I've never
Let me
watched
just tell
it.
you, one of my biggest problems when it comes to anime is when they just introduce people to kill them.
Uh-huh.
And that is all what they've done that whole 1,000-year blood war.
Sounds about right.
For example, they introduced the Zero Squad.
We could
And-
totally turn a whole episode into anime.
We
We
could.
could.
Maybe we'll do that next time. You want to join us for
I'll
that?
turn it.
Senjumaru does her Bankai, which Zero Squad, their Bankais shake the realms how powerful they are. But yet, Uryu is able to be like, Uno reverse, and kill her. No sense. It was stupid. Anyway.
So, who's your favorite all time?
I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. I think Zoro from One Piece. I don't think either one of you've seen One Piece.
I've never watched One Piece, the anime, but I did watch the Netflix.
live,
So
yeah.
I know him like that, and he's a very attractive actor.
Which one? Like which?
He's the Asian guy with
They're
the
all
green
Asian.
hair. Not
He's got
not
the
in
green
the
hair,
Okay.
the piercing.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
not in the Netflix series, Dylan. They're very diverse.
So, my favorite is more of a voice actress.
Oh, we don't care.
I know. But
Are you about to say Misty?
no.
Okay. Okay.
She died recently.
I know. That's why I thought that you were about ready to be
No,
like,
that's
she's
sad.
my favorite.
No, it is Monica Rial. She voiced Mary Jane, but my favorite is when she's in Oran High School Host Club. She is that exchange student who, yeah,
Rangu.
yes.
Oh my god.
And every time
Have you
she comes
watched
out,
Oran? Oh my god.
it's so good.
That was one of my very first ones. The character he's referring to, she does the laugh and she's like, and she
Like
comes up
she's
from
this
a
rich prep
right.
school girl who
It's
just
a platform that rises up and it looks like a tiered cake. And she's standing on with fireworks because it's all about the host club where they just flirt with the rich girls and they pay them.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very interesting.
it
Sounds
it's a good,
dumb, but
yeah,
it's a really
dumb.
good one.
It's a good 24 episode.
Yeah.
You watch it in English too, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
She has to watch it in Japanese because she's
The only
cool.
one I won't watch in English is High School of the Dead.
Have you ever watched that?
They have jiggle physics.
Yeah, they sure do.
Like there's a scene where someone shoots a gun and the bullet goes straight through, and one of the girl's titties goes like this, and the bullet goes right through.
My favorite scene from that's the first episode though with the two best friends
yes.
because that's he and I. Have you ever seen that on TikTok?
No,
They're running through the school and they're like, "You're my best friend. We're gonna get through this together." And one falls and a zombie grabs her and she's like, "Help me!" And her friend is like, "Get off, you bitch!" and starts kicking her so that she can get away. But then when she gets away, she looks up and there's zombies waiting for her. That would be he and I. We'd be like, "We'll get through this, buddy."
That's the only one I'll watch in Japanese because the Japanese is so much better.
True. The best zombie movie, though, well, I'm really going to end it on this because we've been talking now for over an hour. But the best zombie movie to me is Zombieland 2, and that's because of Zoe Deutsch.
Yes.
Because that's how, Edwards would survive. Because, she doesn't do anything. Anyways, so I hope everybody has a wonderful week because we need to wrap this up. And please follow, subscribe at Humble Narcissists on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon. I still think we have no followers. But
Why do you have to say that with your eyes closed?
because the light is in my eyes, Dylan.
You always say it when your eyes are closed. Your eyes are always closed when you say it. It
Well,
cracks
you know
me
what?
up.
The only place that they can see the videos is Patreon and YouTube. So if they're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, they wouldn't have known if you didn't say something,
You're
jackass. And with that, have a wonderful week. And I'm going to enjoy more mac and cheese.
Bye.